Hello, everyone. Welcome to Study Abroad Saturdays by iSchoolConnect. So I'll just go forward, start with the webinar because I think, maximum time, Scott and I would love to give to the Q&A. And yeah, let me just share my screen. Start with the presentation. My screen is visible? Perfect. So today's webinar topic is facts and myths about studying in the US. Of course, Scott will be the best person who can tell you that. I'll just go forward, start with a very brief introduction. This is Pooja here. And uh, one second. I think it's not moving to the second slide, right? Give me one moment. Mhm. Mhm. One second. Yeah, so we have with us Scott Trevino. He's Assistant Director of International Programs at CSU Channel Islands. And I believe we are going to have a very wonderful session with him today. Right. And Scott, I'll just go forward, give a few introductions, and then I'll hand over the stage to you. Perfect. So these are the pointers that we'll be talking about today. Of course, the first two pointers will be with me, and the next one Scott will be taking up. Statistics of Indian students studying abroad, study abroad roadmap. Then will be followed by what is, the highlight of today's webinar would be the myths that we need to break when it comes to studying abroad. The facts, what are the facts versus what are the myths that we have? And then, of course, about California State University, Channel Islands, and what are the different courses, programs, and what are the different myths and facts that Scott will, just elaborate about you about his university, right? And of course, we'll have the 15 minutes Q&A session, and yeah, we'll be done with the webinar then. So starting with that, I'll just go forward and show you what is the, how many Indian students, study abroad, go to study abroad on a, the statistics of that basically to USA, we see almost 6,708 students who go and study abroad every year, followed by Australia, then Canada, then UK, Germany, New Zealand, Singapore, UAE, Ireland, and Spain. So, of course, we can see here that USA is where maximum of our students go and study abroad. And the reasons why they go and study abroad, of course, will be going forward and, unfolding in the next slides, of course, right? Yeah, this is one of the questions that we would like to know, of course, because apart from statistics that USA is where people go to study abroad, what today our audience here, which country would you like to study in? Is it USA, UK, Singapore? Where would you like to study in? Your answers in the chat box would be great. Perfect. So yeah, we can see a few answers saying UK, but of course, majority, of course, adding, uh, justifying the statistics we showed earlier, majority wants to go to USA, right? Yeah, perfect. So the next slide. Mhm. Yep. So the study abroad roadmap, right? How many months or how many months do you require if you want, planning to go and study abroad? And I'll just give you the roadmap month by month that what do you need to do in these 12 months that we have, told you what you can do in these 12 months. So the first month, that is the 12th month before you go and study abroad, would be you research about the different schools. Then you go forward, prepare your scores in the different, tests and everything that you have to aptitude tests as well as English proficiency tests. Then in the next month, you collate your mark sheets, right? Followed by, start applying to universities. Then you go forward, apply for scholarships because I am sure most of you would want to, avail scholarships. Then you go forward, draft your resume, essay, and LOR. And iSchool Connect, we have this wonderful tool that is the SOP analyzer tool. You can go and copy paste your SOPs there, whatever you have written in your Word doc or anywhere, just copy paste it there, and different pointers that you may have missed for let's say for example, where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? right? Those suggestions will come on that SOP analyzer tool, and make sure that you are not missing out any of the important points that a perfect SOP looks like, right? Next, we go forward, pay the application fees, monitor the applications, right? And then you apply for student loans, of course. Then finally, you prepare for your student visa, book your flights, and of course, get set go. Then you go and go to your universities, basically, right? This was, in short, what a study abroad roadmap looks like. Now you are clear that USA is where most of you want to go to. I think this webinar is going to make a lot of sense now. Yeah. So Scott, I would love it if you can take up the webinar from now, and it would be lovely to have you speak.
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. Let me just share my screen here. Can you see it? Yeah.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Play from. Okay. So yeah, thanks for coming, everyone, and thank you for the introduction. Some great info there. So yeah, my name is Scott. I work at California State University, Channel Islands. It's morning here, evening there, so thank you for joining. Yeah, first I'm going to talk in general about some of the myths about studying in the U.S. And then later I'll talk a little bit about my university and the myths about studying in California. So there's 5 myths that we're going to break today. So let's see, I'll move on to the next slide. Where is it? Okay, so the first myth, studying in the US, a dream only for toppers. So this is not true. There's so many universities in the United States, and there's definitely a university that's right for you. So the fact that you're here is great because it means you're starting your preparation, and iSchoolConnect can definitely help you with that. But yeah, it starts with research. You can look at location. The weather in that location could be a factor. But then also you want to look at size of the university. You want to look at, whether you want to be at a very large university or a small university. There's so many different types of universities in the US. The other thing you want to look for is who offers the program that you're interested, what kind of resources the universities have. But you can definitely do your research, and there's a lot of resources out there like iSchoolConnect, and then also you can connect with the university that you finally select, and they have representatives that will guide you along the way and answer any questions you have. So, and then not all universities are elite, only accepting the top GPAs. There's other universities that are accessible. So no matter what your marks are, you can definitely find a university that will fit what you're looking for and that you're eligible for. Let's see. Whoops. So myth number 2 about expense. So again, there's lots of different options in the US. So expense is definitely one you want to think about. There's a lot of financial resources out there. Some universities will offer scholarships. There's also other organizations that offer scholarships. There's student loans that you can apply for. And again, the cost is going to depend upon the university you select. There's private universities that can tend to be a little more in tuition and fees, but they usually have a lot of scholarships available, merit scholarships and scholarships specifically for international students. Yeah, and let's see. Oh, and as an international student, you are allowed to work on campus with your F1 student visa. You're allowed to work up to 20 hours per week. And I do recommend you do this. no matter where you study, because it can help build your resume. It gives you experience, work experience, and then you also earn extra money while you're studying. Another thing that is available is curricular practical training. We call it CPT, and these are paid internships where you're actually earning credit for the program you're studying while you're doing an internship at a company. So there's lots of different options. The best thing to do is do your research and ask questions to the university you're applying to. Myth number 3. So it's not safe for students. I can tell you universities in the US are some of the safest places in the country. Each university usually has their own police department on campus. They have a lot of people, safety officers that walk at night. They provide services such as walking you to your car or your dorm after class. So it's a really safe environment, and it's nothing to worry about. Let's see. The next myth, struggling with curriculum. So all universities will have support for you if you're struggling with the curriculum. So all universities will have a disability resource center. So if you need extra time for an exam because of a disability, the support is there for you. We have interpreters for the deaf, whatever disability or where you're struggling, we have support for the students. We also, a lot of universities now have food banks for students who are food insecure. There's also tutoring available. So whether it be in math or writing, there's professors that dedicate their time to help students with their grammar and their essay writing. So struggling with the curriculum, it shouldn't be a problem as long as you're reaching out and using the resources that the university has provided. Let's see. Next up, the myth about only hanging out with the same nationalities. So universities are very diverse, and universities pride themselves on the diversity. For example, there's a lot of student clubs where you'll interact with American students. There's lots of sports available where you can interact with American students. The most important thing I'd say when you're studying is to get out there and join clubs, join sports activities. There's academic clubs. Just alone at my university, we have over 85 different clubs that you can join. So, and besides just interacting with other students from your country and American students, there's usually a lot of other international students. So you will be interacting with people from all over the world. And this is great because this will train you for and prepare you for the workplace. Because once you start working, you're going to be working with a diverse group of people. Let's see. So a little bit about California State University Channel Islands. This is a picture of our campus. We are located in California. We are a public university. And on the next slide, I'll just give a little history. So our university, it's our 20th anniversary this year. So we formed in 2002. And we're part of the California State University system, which is the largest university system in the United States. There's 23 different campuses. So our total enrollment as of fall 2022 is 5,600 students. Most students are studying for their bachelor's, but we do have some master's programs as well. You can see our student population is mostly female, 66%. And we offer 27 different degrees. That's at the bachelor's level. This is a little bit old. We have 27 degrees now. Yeah, these are our majors. The most popular majors for international students are computer science, business, mechatronics engineering is a new major that we offer, and it's a growing field, and it's brand new. We're one of only three programs, one of only three universities that offer this program in California. So it's robotics engineering, and it prepares students for jobs in, you can work for NASA, you can work in the space industry, aeronautical industry, auto industry. They do things like work on anti-lock brakes. So it's a really up and coming major, working with robots. And then we also offer business is very popular. We have a small business institute. And yeah, there's a lot of internships available as well with local companies. For our master's program, we offer 4 different degrees: MS in mathematics, biotechnology and bioinformatics, MBA, and computer science. These are all STEM degrees, science, technology, engineering, math, which means at the end, students are eligible to work on optional practical training, which is when you finish your degree, you're allowed to work for up to 1 year after you complete your degree. But if it's a STEM major, you can extend that for 2 years for a total of 3 years. All of these are STEM except for the MBA is a non-STEM major.
So yeah, Scott, I think a lot of students in India do go for STEM courses abroad, and I think this was helpful. I mean, a lot of students do have a lot of questions about these courses as well, about applications and everything. I think a few of them we can see in the Q&A section, which we can talk later after the presentation.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Please continue. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. No problem. So yeah, and then here's some of our rankings. So for we're ranked 15th out of for social mobility index. That means transforming the socioeconomic background of the students. So we're very proud of that because we're ranked 15 out of 1,549 universities that they surveyed. So then we're also a very good college for transfer students. And then we're also one of the top public schools in the Western US. Also, Washington Monthly ranked us as the best bang for the buck. So that means best value. Because we're a public university, we get money from the state government of California. So it does help to lower the tuition and fees. Yeah, and as far as clubs, organizations, so we have 80 plus organizations. We have lots of sports available. We have a fitness center on campus. So again, I encourage you, no matter where you study, you definitely want to get yourself out there and join clubs and interact with people. Let's see. So facts and myths at CSUCI. So number one, because of our name, California State University Channel Islands, a lot of students think we're located on an island. So we're not on an island. You don't need to take a boat to get to class. We're actually located near Los Angeles. So it's 96 kilometers from Los Angeles, about 60 miles. Another myth about California in general is housing is expensive, which it is expensive if you want to live alone in a one-bedroom apartment. That might cost it will cost more to live alone, but what we recommend is maybe your first semester you live in the dorms, and then you'll meet other students, and then you move out to you all rent a house together. So that can save you a lot of money. Another big concern is food and health. So a lot of students, particularly from India, will ask about, what the university serves in the restaurants. So we actually have a chef who will prepare any diet that a student requests. So we have vegan students, we have vegetarian students, we have any kind of diet and any kind of type of food you want. If it's not on the menu already, you can request it from the chef, and they will do their best to accommodate you. So there's also a health center on campus that you can utilize. There's a free fitness center on campus. So you can go work out in between classes. There's also basketball courts, lots of open fields to play soccer, football. So yeah, you definitely should take advantage of that. And then we offer free public transportation. So your student ID card is a bus pass for the local area. So that's a nice perk because you don't have to buy a bus pass the entire time while you're studying. One thing we pride ourselves on is our low class sizes. Our faculty to student ratio is low. So you will get to interact a lot with your professors. Like, for example, in our computer science program, we have brand new lab stations, and also for the mechatronics engineering program. So we limit it to 24 students per class. So your professor will know your name. They're available during their office hours, and then also a lot of them will answer questions by email at any time, but you definitely can go meet with them. And I do recommend, no matter where you study, it's always good to go to the professor's office hours, talk to them, especially if you don't understand something, but it's still good just to go and talk to them, because then you're interacting with the professor, they see you're involved. So you definitely should do that no matter where you study. What I really like about Cal State Channel Islands is there's a great sense of community because it is a smaller public school with 5,400 students. So you'll have classes a lot with other students, same students every semester. So you start to form friendships that way. We actually launched a buddy program where we match international students with American students. It's been very successful, and the American students, they're very eager to learn about other cultures. We actually always have more American students volunteering than international students volunteering for this program. As far as jobs go, so like I mentioned before, students are allowed to work on campus up to 20 hours per week. Then there's internships available. We have job fairs with companies that come and recruit students. There's also career services available, and they'll do everything from help you with your CV or your resume. They'll conduct mock interviews with you to help you improve your interview skills. They'll also teach you like the best way to search for jobs. So you definitely want to utilize that. Especially they'll help you tailor your resume to the American style resume, what companies will expect. And another great thing is our location. We are in California. California has the strongest economy in the US. And then we're also near Los Angeles, which is a major hub. So we are close to Los Angeles, which is a major city, but we're 96 kilometers north of it. So it's a nice, quiet, safe area near the beach. It's about 10 minutes to the beach. And then as far as safety goes, our campus is one of the safest in the countries. We actually are ranked 9th safest campus in the United States based on crime statistics. Yeah, and then so these are just a few of the companies where our alumni end up after graduation. So you can see Amazon, Google. We actually have a partnership with the Amazon Web Services. So we have had students study for internships there. And then the health industry is very big in our area. And then you can see our student to faculty ratio is 23-1. So you get a lot of attention from your professors. And 62% of our students are first generation students, meaning they're the first in their family to ever earn a degree. So that's what we're very proud of. And that's why we're ranked so high in the social mobility index. Yeah, and the weather is great in Southern California. So it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about, that's the average temperature, which is about 23 degrees Celsius. And with that, we're ready to answer some questions.
Yes. Scott, I can just, speak out the questions and you can answer them accordingly. So,
Sure.
yeah. Yes, so there's a question from David. He asks, is SAT needed for admissions at CSUCI?
Yeah, so no SAT or ACT is required for admission.
Oh, perfect. I
Yeah.
think that answers this question to the point.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's another question. 1 second. Yeah, Akash. So he asks, do you offer application fee waiver?
No, not typically. Yeah, the application fee is $70. So yeah.
Perfect. Tanishka asks, on what basis does the university select a student? What are the different, categories, or what are the different parameters you use to select a student?
Yeah, so because we're a public university and we are one of the largest public university, or we are the largest public university system in the United States. Our mission is accessibility. So our admission requirements are very simple. It's based on for undergraduate, you must have a high school diploma. You must take an English proficiency exam. So at Channel Islands, we accept TOEFL, Duolingo, IELTS, and PTE, Pearson's Test of English. So you must pass the English proficiency exam, and then we're going to look at your mark sheets. And typically it'll be around 50% marks is enough for admission for undergrads. And then no SAT, no SAT. So our mission is accessibility. So, but it's very high quality because we're regulated by the government of California and we get funding from the government of California. So we have to perform and provide services, and we're mandated to. So
Perfect. So I think Tanushka, your keyword would be accessibility, right? And yeah, the next question that we have is from Kirti, Shruta Kirti. So she asks Scott that what are the other courses that we can pursue other than business analytics for masters?
yeah, so for masters, I can just go back to this slide real quick. So yeah, we do offer an MBA program, but we also offer an MS in biotechnology and bioinformatics. This program is great because it has paid internships built into it if you study in stem cell research. So a lot of in the second year of the program, it's a 2-year program. So first you come, you study your first year, you take core subjects, then you declare your emphasis, either bioinformatics or stem cell research. And then in the stem cell research program, you get placed at prestigious labs around California. So that is a great program if you're looking to get some hands-on experience in some really prestigious labs in California. We also have a $3.6 million grant for this program. So that's where the paid internships come in. So if you're interested in biotechnology, California is the place to be for it. And there's a large biotechnology company located 20 minutes away from our campus. It's called Amgen. It's very big. And then we offer MS in computer science, which is a very popular program. But it's admission to MS in computer science is highly competitive. So we don't require GRE. What they're looking for is, have you taken computer science classes, and did you do well in those specific computer science classes? And they're looking for, how well did you do in programming, computer architecture and design. You want to make sure you have high marks in that. But that's also a great program because we have internships with Amazon Web Services, and we're located near Los Angeles, which is like, they call it the 101 Tech Corridor, because that's the highway where all the companies are close to. And then we offer a great MS in mathematics program that has a lot of the computer science classes curriculum in them. And you can also become a software engineer with the MS in mathematics degree, as well as actuary sciences, business finances. But yeah, it's a rundown of our graduate programs.
Perfect. I think these were a few courses, Kirti, and of course, it's not exhaustive. Of course, we do have a lot of courses at CSUCI.
Yeah.
And after this webinar, of course, you'll be getting a link where you can look at all the courses and apply for the same, right? Great. So I'll just go forward, go to the next question. What are the different scholarships that are there, or what are the different scholarships do students generally avail? I can see a few questions on scholarships, so I just collated and asked you one question.
Yes, thank you. So we do have some scholarships available, but we are a public university, so we get government funding from the state of California. So our tuition and fees are already lower than most other universities and most other public universities in the US, because we're highly subsidized by the government of California. So just tuition and fees in general are lower. But we have some specific scholarships that are only for international students. that you can apply to, but you have to apply to them in your second semester. Also, outside of the university, we have a whole list of scholarships that are available for you to apply to. So,
Awesome. Yeah, I think we got the answer to that. Apart from that, there are a few other questions like, okay, it's about PhD courses. So Sridevi asks, what are the usual procedures and requirements for applying for a PhD course?
yeah, so at Cal State Channel Islands, we do not offer PhD programs. It's not our mission uh, from the state of California. So our mission is bachelor's and master's degrees. There's 23 Cal State universities, and a few of them will offer doctoral programs in specific things. But yeah, unfortunately, we don't have PhD degrees.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so what is the next question asks, what eligibility criteria is required for Masters in Business Administration and or Masters in Management and other specializations in business, basically?
Yeah, so for our MBA program, we do require 2 years of full-time work experience. And then typically it's best if you have taken business classes during your bachelor's degree, but it's not necessarily required. But if you're changing streams, like from engineering to MBA, you're going to have to take some foundation classes in business. So it will slightly extend the time to earn your MBA. We do require the GMAT or GRE exam, but there are some cases where you can get a waiver. If you have a 3.5 GPA out of 4.0, then that can qualify for a waiver. Or if you've been working in a managerial role at a company for 5 years or more, then we could waive the GMAT.
Perfect. So, apart from adding on to that question, there's a second question which says, what are the different specializations that are offered in MBA? For example, in finance or marketing, or what are the different specializations basically?
Yeah, so it is a general MBA degree, but it will touch upon every aspect of business. So there's some classes on marketing management. You will have a final project at the end, and you can focus that on whatever area you want to specialize that on. It's the student's choice with guidance from a business professor. But it is a general MBA degree. It's not a MBA. It's not a MS in finance or MA in marketing. It's a master's in business administration. So it's a general degree, and it's very valuable for your career.
Perfect. So there's another question. So Madhav asks, while applying to the US university, do I add the internship experience in the work ex section, or will the university, understand or interpret it as a part-time degree during my undergrad? How do I, how does my internship in India in any of the places look like in the applications?
Yeah, so I would list it under work experience because it's real world work experience at a company. But yeah, you can list it as part-time. Also, if you're applying to a graduate program, I would talk about that experience in your statement of purpose or personal statement or your motivation letter, the reason why you're applying to the master's program. But yeah, I would put it in work experience.
Perfect. I think that makes it a lot of easier for a lot of, freshers that would love to go and study there, of course. because as freshers, they have a lot of internship experience in
Mhm.
relation to full-time workings. Perfect. And the next question comes from one sec. Huh, are there any scholarships for students who excel in extracurricular activities, sports, or any other things?
Yeah, so it will help you when you're applying for the scholarships that we offer. Um, it each scholarship's going to be different though, so you'll need to research the criteria and what they're looking for. But yeah, the more extracurricular activities, the higher GPA, the better your chances are for a scholarship. So you definitely want to display that when in your resume, your statement of purpose, and a lot of scholarships will require an essay. So yeah, you definitely want to display that you're a well-rounded, skillful individual.
Perfect. Okay, there's the next question. It's about what are the requirements if somebody wants to pursue MS in mathematics, and is GRE required? Or what are the different, tests also required?
Yeah, so for our MS in mathematics, GRE is not required. Um, and what they're going to be looking for is, have you taken math, like foundation math classes, like advanced calculus, um, and then they look for like abstract algebra, real analysis. But if you're lacking anywhere, if you're only lacking like say you've never taken abstract algebra, you can take it during your first semester in the program. But typically they just want to see that you have completed the foundations in math, and then grade point average should typically be 2.75 out of 4.0. But it's still possible if your GPA is 2.5 out of 4.0.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's another question. What if I worked at a startup as a tech lead during my undergrad? Do I add the experience as employment or internship or leadership? How do I add my experience as?
I would add that as work experience, because it's like it's your startup. You're working, and it's giving you real world experience, just like if you were working at a job. So I would equate that as work experience.
Perfect. Finally, there's another question that says, are there any research papers that are accepted for undergrad admissions?
Research papers, is that what you said?
Yeah, they are saying research papers which are accepted for undergrad admissions at CSUCI.
Like required for admission, or you get to do research papers?
It's required for admission. Basically, these students have already, written these research papers in India and they want to add it
Okay.
as, yeah.
Yeah, so for undergrad, that's not required. Um, um, for undergrad, all we're looking for, we want to see how well you did in secondary school in India. So we will look at years 10, 11, and 12, or 10 and 12, and we'll look at your marks and English proficiency, because again, we're about accessibility. So we're not looking for only people that have done research papers or tested really high on the SAT. Our main goal is accessibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's another question again on scholarships, Scott. So what percentage of scholarships generally is provided, to international students and everything? Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't again, because our tuition and fees are already lower, we don't offer a lot of scholarships for international students, but think of it this way: if you go to a private university, they might charge $50,000 a year in tuition and fees and give you a $5,000 scholarship. You're still paying double what you pay at a public university, because our tuition and fees is $18,000 a year. So it depends on what you're looking for, and you definitely want to do your research and decide which type of institution you want to attend, and also the experience you're looking for, and also, how much you want to invest in your studies, money wise. So I can't give you a specific percentage, but most of our students, what we recommend is you definitely want to look for campus jobs. That's a great way to get work experience and get funding as well. But there are scholarships you can apply for. I just can't give you a percentage.
Okay, got it. Apart from that, there is a question on, this person wants to know more about the MS in computer science at your university, and what is your ranking in MS in computer science, and what are the different things offered under that, and placements and everything.
Yeah, sure. So rankings in the US, like there's so many universities that students aren't necessarily looking at rankings. The American students are. What they're looking for is more what their experience is going to be, and what the professors specialize in. So I can tell you our MS in computer science program, it's a smaller program with usually the classes, especially that have lab stations, it's 24 students per class. What they specialize in a lot of the professors specialize in robotics, AI, cybersecurity, and as far as internships go, we partner with Amazon Web Services. So I know at least 2 international students who are doing an internship, a paid internship there right now. And again, we're located near Los Angeles, so there's thousands of companies around. And computer science is in high demand. So our program is a great value, also because for all of our graduate programs, we don't charge out-of-state tuition. So in the US, there's a lot of students or a lot of universities that will, because they're publicly funded by taxpayer money, they'll charge one fee for the resident of that state and then a higher fee for anybody not from that state, which includes international students. For our MS in computer science, the entire program is $16,800. So that's $8,400 per year. So it's a really good value, and it has a really rewarding payoff because computer science is in such high demand, especially in California and Southern California as well. Like we're about 5 hours from Silicon Valley. It's a 1-hour flight, but then we're also near Los Angeles. Basically, San Francisco and Los Angeles are the main hubs of California. So, and as far as admission goes, like I said, no GRE. Typically, you should have a 2.75, and then they're going to be looking at how well you've done in your computer science classes during your bachelor's degree. Work experience can help, but they want to know that you've actually done well academically in the theory portions, and then but the program is practical, so it's hands-on. Like we have labs, and then you have 2 options at the end. You can either do a thesis or a project. but yeah, it's a really good value, and it's one of our most popular programs for international students.
Perfect. I think that answers your question. It does have a lot of, benefits, starting from, the place where you start applying to that course. It does have a lot of benefits where you can easily go and apply. Again, the services like placements and internship, experiences that you guys provide also is something, a cherry on the cake, of course. Apart from that, I'll just go forward as the next question. Samar asks, is the TOEFL home edition accepted in your university?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, the finally one more question we'll just like to take, looking at the time, right? So, one second. Yeah, so what are the deadlines to apply to your university? When do we, the deadlines and everything, when can we apply?
So yeah, it's great you're planning now. Yeah, so for the graduate programs, it's going to be specific to the program. Most of them will be June 1st, 2023. And then all the UG programs will be June 1st as well. So, but you do need to check individual programs because some graduate programs will close earlier. But you can start, our application is open now. And then the deadline's June 1st. And just so you know, the California State University system, we all use the same application. There's 23 campuses sharing the application using the same system. So when you go to apply, you have to go to, it's called Cal State Apply. So if you Google Cal State Apply, and then you can apply for fall 2023, that starts August 21st. And you have to filter it down to the campus, which is Channel Islands, if we have the program that you're interested in. So.
Perfect. Yeah, I think, Scott, it was a great session. And yeah, I think we've come to the end of the session. We love to have you on board speaking to our students, answering all their queries. And of course, it's evening here and convenient timings for our students and us, but not so convenient for you, waking up at, 5 o'clock. Yeah,
Yes.
but
No, thank you for hosting. And yeah, I'm sorry, it is very early in the morning here.
yes. So
So,
yeah, thank you so much, Scott. It was wonderful having you on board. Thank you so much. And yeah, good morning.
yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for hosting this. And thank you all for attending.
Yeah.